third time's a charm with this, and everything is set up correctly, which would be nice. So let me check while we're waiting. Dogs are situated. Hopefully they'll be quiet. Oh, there we go. Okay, and I'm still trying to get the chat to work. Oh, hold on a second. Hey, Amy. All right, still not giving me the chat in one spot. Make that bigger. I can't. All right. Technology challenged as usual. So anyway, so a couple things I want to talk about tonight. All right. The first thing is for everybody that is now in the Pet Groomer Town Hall who took the poll for me. I really appreciate it. So for those who are not aware, I am retiring from grooming. This Sunday, upcoming Sunday, is going to be my last day, and I'm going to be teaching full-time, coaching, consulting, whatever. And I needed to get a name for my program, and the one I really like, Plan with Focus, is taken. Somebody else has it, so I can't use it, and that's the one I wanted. Anyway, so there were a lot of suggestions in it. And there were a couple people who mentioned it should have like paws or pet or something in the name to know, because my focus is not everybody. My focus is simply the pet industry. So I have to thank Susie Scott for this. Okay. Honestly and truly, it's one of those bang my head on my forehead and going, why didn't I not think of that? But it's going to be called Positive Planning. Okay. So Susie, thank you. All right. I appreciate that. So a couple things I want to talk about tonight. All right. There's two things. And as usual, pop a question in here for me. All right. And at some point, I will figure out this whole chat thing so I don't have to go from group to group to group to hit the messages. Or I should just, put up 4 tabs here and be done with it. Probably would be the easiest. But anyway, so there was, I remember in another group, somebody had very proudly put up there, they've been grooming for like 35 years, and the reason they don't ever take any classes is because they've been grooming for 35 years, and they don't need to take any continuing education, which I don't understand that. So Angie wants to know, could it move the timer in the middle of the screen? Good question. Well, let's see. I removed it. Okay, so that's gone. So thank you. And 6 comments already. Hold on. So positive planning sounds perfect. Yeah, I think I like that, and that just goes so in line with my the brand that I already have. Okay, so anyway, getting back to, which I thought was kind of ridiculous. I mean, I've been in the pet industry for more than 20 years, and I absolutely love going to trade shows, love taking classes, because I will learn something. I will learn something every single time I go. And case in point, there was a post that started off in, I think it was Pro Groomer, and it was, I'm getting up the other, and it was on this kind of unique way to, like, quote, muzzle a cat. All right, and what they did was they took a dog muzzle, fitted it over the cat like it's a snood. All right. And that's the best way I can to describe it. So it looked interesting. So my concerns with any time you're working with cats is not restraining the cat. All right. Because cats honestly and truly or minimally use any kind of restraint system on a cat, because the less you restrain a cat, the more the cat trusts you. And sometimes even in the beginning, it might be a little difficult, but you earn that cat's trust and you can have a better grooming experience for both of you. But anyway, so I have a cat that I groom, and his name is Squeaky the Fourth. Not to be confused with Squeaky the Third, the second, and the first. Squeaky the Fourth is been a challenge. It's been a challenge the entire time I've been grooming him. And no matter what I do, he's difficult. His window of opportunity to groom him is really short. And as a mobile, I've always felt that this is a cat that honestly and truly belongs in a shop, because they can give him time to recover and recuperate from the grooming and get him done. So I tried it on him, and I didn't even have one of those muzzles anymore. I had to borrow one from a shop. And let's just go off tangent here just a moment. That this is why it's really good to have a good relationship with your other area professionals, because I needed something, I didn't have it. I walked into a shop, hey, can I borrow this? And they're like, sure, here you go. So that was pretty nice. And I tried it on him. The owner was present. The owner does help with Squeaky. And so we put it on, and while he had it on, he was, I'm not going to use the word good as gold. I was able to get him done. All right. So this would have been my concerns on it. Okay. Hi, Kelly. Is that it clips, goes over the head, and it clips on back of the legs. So it is a plastic clip. So one of my concerns would be, is that plastic clip digging into the cat? And I kept it loose, and it wasn't. It didn't have to. I didn't have it on him tight. It just needed that it was just on him. It's going to be hard for me to follow up because I'm done. You know, it's the last time I was doing Squeaky the Fourth. So I made mention to the owner, because we watched. I said if he could follow up with, let me know who was going to be grooming Squeaky afterwards, so I could follow up and see how well that worked over the long term, and whether or not it was like a one-time deal with him. But I was able to get him done. It was the first time I was able to get him done with literally just a scratch on my arm. He had full movement. He was still able to scratch me, but he chose not to, except for 1 or 2 times, and that was kind of when we called it a day for him. But to my absolute amazement, we got him done. And I also tried it on another cat today. Another one is not nearly as naughty as Squeaky is, but Roxy is probably the only other cat that's not what I would say is easy. Okay, and I did the same thing for Roxy, and kind of the same thing is that Roxy was definitely much better while I was grooming her. Her issue is when I start to comb out her back end, she doesn't like that. And I was able to get that done. Again, I simply can't follow up. So it would be really interesting to see if anybody is using that method with difficult cats, to kind of see how that is working over the long term. All right. So that was number 1. All right. And, you know, the usual, if you have questions, please feel free to pop them into the chat box, and I will definitely get to them. And one of these days, I will figure out the whole chat thing, so I don't have to go back and forth on the pages to do that. So the second thing I wanted to talk about today, and for those who are in the Association of Holistic Pet Professionals, this is a reminder that at 9 o'clock is the monthly support call. So I will be sticking to 8:30 today so that I can get set up for that support call at 9 o'clock. So, okay. Second thing I wanted to talk about today is, and I noticed this on, I pay attention to what's being talked about in other groups and see if there's like recurring questions and stuff like that. So one of the recurring questions that I've seen lately is cut tongues. All right. So that's been posted a couple times in a couple different groups. So what do you do for a cut tongue? And the problem with cut tongues is that tongues are very vascular. They bleed a lot. They tend to not bleed for a real long period of time, but they do bleed. So Kelly's asking, what's that, a harness? You're referring back to, and I really wish I had one handy so I could kind of show you. But I'll probably post a picture in it. It's a standard nylon dog muzzle, the one that goes over the snout of a dog. And if you use it on a cat where the long part is sort of covering the back of their head and their neck, and it just their face shows through. Now I make sure the whiskers are out and the whiskers are not folded in there, because whiskers are a sensory organ, and if something's always touching the whiskers, you can put that cat in overwhelm. All right, so whiskers are free, face is right there. I mean, he looks pretty cute, to be really honest. And then it just snaps underneath the belly. I'm wondering, I have a picture. I wonder if I could do a screen share on this. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can just grab the picture. All right, hold on a second. Let me find it. And how do I make this? Get rid of that. Hold on, I'm trying to make this bigger. Hold on, overlays. Picture. Here we go. Just bear with me. Let me see if I could just figure this out. Nope, that wasn't it. That's not it. All right, I can't figure it out. Cancel. All right, hold on. Let's try it again. Showing all scenes. Got the logo. Let me just try. All right, hold on a second. Desktop. Here, let's see. Look at that. Okay. If you can see that, do me a favor and type something in the box. All right, but this is a standard dog muzzle, the nylon one. This is the long end, and underneath here, underneath the chin is the shorter end, and it's snapped behind the arms. Okay? All right. So there's that. Let me get rid of this now. And let me make this smaller if I can. All right. Honestly and truly, can't figure stuff out today at all. Okay, good. So if you understand what... Oh, hold on. We kill the volume on this side. There we go. All right, so that's that. All right, so getting back to the bleeding part. So how do you stop bleeding on tongues? All right, there's a couple different ways you can do it. I mean, if you're in a shop and you have a freezer and you have ice is really good to stop the bleeding. Ice chips, cold water for them to drink, something cold that will restrict the blood cells in the tongue and slow down the bleeding. What I don't ever recommend is sugar. And will sugar work? Yes, it will work. It will work and it will stop the bleeding. But the problem with sugar is A, you don't know if this pet is diabetic because the owners don't always tell us the pets are diabetic. A pet with an injury is stressed. So even if the pet is like pre-diabetic, putting sugar on a pre-diabetic pet that's stressed can put this pet into diabetes. So I don't ever recommend using sugar simply because we don't know the real and true health of any pet in our care. Okay? And it may not even be that the owner hasn't told us. The owner may not even be aware of this. Another option instead is to use a plain black tea bag. Okay? Somebody had asked me, what about decaf? And I honestly don't know, because what stops the bleeding from a tea bag is that there's tannins in a tea bag, in black tea, and it's the tannins that actually act as a coagulant to stop the bleeding. And I don't honestly know if when they do the decaffeination process, if it removes the tannins or not. So, black tea bag, dry tea bag, doesn't even have to be wet, and just put it on the tongue. Okay, and the worst case scenario is that they eat the tea bag. It's fine. It's not going to cause harm. All right, but that should do it. The problem with cut tongues is, of course, that also the blood mixes with the saliva, so it tends to look a lot worse than it really is. And yes, that was my very first injury that I had as a groomer, because the golden retriever licked the scissors. Okay. So that was fun. Okay, let me just check, because now I'm trying to make this smaller again so I can see. Is that it? No. All right, one of these days I'll be such a pro at this. Yeah, Angie says, if I see just put sugar on the tongue in one more form, my head will explode. It's the worst idea ever. If the owner doesn't know if the dog is pre-diabetic and we don't have a head of omniscience, how could we know? Exactly. I always err on the side of caution. All right. Would I use sugar on my own dogs? Probably not my dogs that are predisposed to diabetes, such as my Min Pin right here. Okay, Erin says, obviously Quick Stop will work, but what are some of the reasons for not to use it? Because it is not designed to go into the blood system, okay? Quick Stop tends to get really dirty, number one. Quick Stop also, if you put, next time you do a little cut on your arm, put some Quick Stop on that and see exactly how that feels. It stings, it hurts, all right? So what you're doing is you're putting something dirty and something that's painful on the tongue of a pet that is already stressed and injured. So no, don't do that, okay? There are other products. Again, you have to watch the sterility of them too. There are like the Clotosol, which I think might be a little bit better, but I'm not 100% positive that Clotosol can be put on tongues. I would need to check on that. Okay, but other than that, yeah, it stings. It's like putting alcohol, rubbing alcohol on an open wound. It's gonna hurt. Okay. So let me just check over here, but I don't think. Oh, there we go. Now I made it small again. So hey, Cassa's watching in another group. So I'm always excited when this is all over the place. Okay, so let's go back to here. Okay, so Aaron says, that's why we would not use it, but wondered why else we have to use black tea bags. What is it with dogs licking scissors? Seriously. I'm truly glad that accident had happened so early in my career. Because A, it was a dog that was known to do it by the owner, or after the owner was, it's like, oh yeah, she's always stealing my sewing scissors. And I'm like, you could have told me that when you checked the dog in that we're working with scissors and your dog had a thing for scissors. But anyway, what that accident had taught me was to know was when I was keeping the tongues away from the scissors, however I had to do that. So when I was scissoring the paw pads, I would keep two fingers up with my scissors on the other hand, so that I was always doing like a body block on the scissors. So Angie says they only have two methods of exploration: their paws and their mouth. Since they can't grab them, they'll try to lick or mouth them. I know. But that really made me so conscious of the scissors and their tongues at that point, because that was like, I'm a baby groomer, and I've got this tongue bleeding profusely. It looked like a murder scene. But anyway, the other thing that I learned because of that was to know where the tips of my scissors are at all times. Okay, that was another one. Erin says they got lots of muzzle lickers. Yeah, that and around the clipper too. I've had a couple of dogs that I've had to like hold their mouth shut while I'm clipping around their face, because if not, they're going to lick my clippers and then we're going to run into the same scenario. So watch those tongues, okay? And accidents happen. We work with live animals, okay? I've been doing this for over 20 years, and while I've kept my injuries to a minimum, there's been injuries, okay? All right, so, okay, what's going on? So, besides the fact that Sunday is my last day, it's been really a bittersweet week. All right, I've had lots of tears, lots of hugs. I've got some awesome goodbye presents. I'll have to share them at another episode. And upcoming workshops and stuff. If you're in the New England area, I've got very limited time left here. So I'm doing a two-day workshops with Dara at the Whole Dog Academy in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. I'm doing the cat workshop, the full-day cat workshop, and a bunch of business classes. Everything is really detailed in the event. I'll throw the event in here later. And then I'm going to be up in Maine at the end of June to do a pet first aid class, and then a Reiki 1 and 2 class, and that'll do it for me in the Northeast. When I move out west to Washington, I won't be doing live workshops, in-person workshops, till at least October. I don't think I'll be settled in prior to that. The online workshops will still be going on, and they will be going on schedule, all right? So July there's 2 workshops in July. One is on crystal grids. The other one is setting up cat grooming. And in July, Barb Hoover is going to be doing a workshops on IC versus employees. And August's workshops will be an unknown workshop. I haven't decided yet. And the other one will be Melissa Jepson is going to be doing one on a build out for a shop. So if you're thinking about building out a shop for grooming, that'll be up in August. So that's kind of it. Oh, yes, New Jersey for the first aid instructors. Angie, you have no idea. I am killing myself trying to get that set up. Okay? If I can get that set up before I go, I will do the 3-day instructor training in New Jersey before I leave. I will figure that out. Okay? I haven't done a class. I haven't done the instructor class in a while. So I need to what's the word? I need to not re-up. I need to go over the material again. All right? And I need to go over the material with somebody from corporate to do that, okay? So, Angie, are you interested in also becoming an instructor? Because I know Chris Anthony wants to do it. But if you're interested as well too, I will double down on that. All right, because I kind of would like to get that done before I leave. All right. Okay. Oh, Naren, oh, you saw a picture of the house. All right. It's looking great. Yeah, I don't think I posted the pictures on Facebook. I've got them on Instagram. All right. But the reason I haven't posted the picture of the house on Facebook is because I don't want my mother-in-law to see the house because she's freaking out about us moving and she's giving my husband a really hard time over this. So, and if I post it there, even though she's not on Facebook, one of her nieces is on Facebook, and I would have to really remember to make sure she didn't have access to the photo, because the second I posted it, she's going to see it through my niece, and I can't do that to him. She's already making his life miserable. All right, so I will double down on that. All right, we are coming up on just about 8:30. If anybody has got any questions, post. You got 3 minutes because I need to end this up at 8:30. So if you got any questions, post them in here. And even though I will end it up at 8:30, if you post afterwards or you're watching this later, I will get to the questions afterwards. Okay? But the house is coming along so nicely. I'm so pleased with that. My office is as packed up as I could possibly get it before I actually leave. Everything else I'm using. Ish. Okay, ish. I mean, I suppose I could pack a couple more boxes. And these guys have been so good. They're just snoozing over here. All right, so I'm going to call it a night here. And let's hold on. Yeah, I'm so happy. You know, I thought for a long time I thought I was going to be really sad about retiring, but I'm not. I'm really not. You know, though I try to be a little sad when I'm saying goodbye to my clients, but I'm like, I'm so out of here. Sorry, but I'm done. I'm done. I want to be finished up before I'm in so much pain I can't work. My shoulder is starting to ache in the mornings, and that's not good. All right, so everybody, good night. For those who are in the association, click on the Zoom link in the association group. I will be there in a half hour. I'm just going to try to get a couple more things done before I do that. So again, any questions, pop them here, and I will get to them later. So good night all.